Hey everybody, it's Blake,
and this is Drew,
and you're listening to the Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Controllers podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 147 of the podcast. We're going to bust through the little intro part here so we can get talking about this surprisingly good game. We haven't enjoyed much of these games in the past, I guess, for this developer. Well, I haven't. I guess Blake has more. You like it more than I do sometimes. Mainly that first one. But we'll talk about that in a second. You can find us on all the social media platforms there. I'm not going to go over all of them. You can just search our name and we'll pop up. But the most important thing we want you to do for us is to come to our Twitch streams with our cousin / podcast editor Brian. We currently started. Actually, are we starting something new entirely? I think we burned a game on one night. And fooled around. So by the time this episode comes out, we will have already started. We're going to try Earth Defense Force 5. Me and Blake have a lot of Earth Defense Force experience in the past. This will be Brian's first time playing one of those, but you should come check it out. It's going to be chit-chatting and shooting big old bugs with rocket launchers. It's going to be a good time. Me and Blake really enjoy the franchise. It's fun to finally get back into it again. What else? I didn't bring up my notes. I don't even know what else. We have a Patreon where you can join to get the podcast early, and you get a chance to name an episode if you want. We try to name our episodes with just these long, ridiculous names. That's tough each day. We try to do it every single episode, so a little assistance would be appreciated. You just message us on the Patreon because you'll have the episode early anyway, and you get it early and unedited or anything like that. And I also post the any kind of videos, not like video, but like our guest videos are on there. Of us when we talk to the guests. We don't really use those videos for anything. And I think we did some, I guess other stuff's already on there now. Blake's old RoboCop stuff was on there, but I think all of that's live now on our YouTube channel, which we also have. So all our things we stream with Brian end up on our YouTube channel and in our different playlists. And then we have Blake's full RoboCop Rogue City playthrough, which he's refusing to do unfinished business and add it to his playlist.
Yeah, it's just I don't think it'll add enough.
Yeah, and I have a playthrough of what was it called? Bramble of the Mountain King, which we had an episode about in the past. So if our talking about it made you curious of what the game looked like, but you don't want to play it, you can always check out my little playthrough. It's only 4 and a half, 5 hours, something like that. It's a relatively short game, so that's on there as well. Have you posting your new thing yet?
I think the first 2 episodes of the run's out now.
Okay, so your Magic the Gathering is being posted. So Blake's a huge fan of Magic the Gathering. So he's going to start playing through. We're not going to be back to back because that'd be way too much Magic. But we have all the old 360 games digitally and stuff like that. They were only ever digital. He's going to do. Every now and then post a bit of his campaign playthroughs of the old Magic games from the 360 era and kind of work his way up through the campaigns and just play a whole bunch of Magic the Gathering, classic Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, I'm not going to do them all back to back. I just finished this one. Actually, there's one prior, like the original one, but there was some sort of glitch. Coding issue between playing it on 360 and Xbox One versus Series X, S, and the opponents would only play land. I played that for one evening, beat everybody, and I was like, okay, something's wrong.
Should have played that long.
I beat 2 or 3 people, and I was like, okay, something's definitely wrong here.
Yeah.
Searched it, figured out, and then just kind of didn't even bother posting that, and then started the 2012 one, finished that one, and I'll do the 2013 one
after a while.
But I'm gonna do something else in between. I don't know what. I think I know what. I just got to get to it. I'm juggling too many games at the moment.
Yeah, we're juggling too many games. With that, am I forgetting anything? Podcast, store.
I think so.
All that fun stuff. I just want to get to talking about this game because I'm not a big fan of the social media, but you can find social media right in and talk about games if you want to. Or join the Patreon to help support us making this podcast and keeping it going. So with that, I want to get into this game because we've talked about this developer once before.
Just once
before.
Earlier.
Because their first game, we weren't doing a podcast on their first game. Yeah. Get up in that.
So the game we're talking about is one of the big mainline ones we normally try to avoid, but we played it and we thought it was it's very fun. Mm-hmm. But it's called The Quarry. So The Quarry originally came out on PlayStation, Windows, and Xbox, all that fun stuff, as well as cloud gaming on June 10th of 2022. So it's fairly new. Mm-hmm. It was developed by Supermassive, also called Supermassive Games, depending on whatever. Not to be confused with like Super Giant and Mega Super Fun and a couple other things that are of a similar name, but Supermassive Games.
I think they'd often get confused with Super Giant just because the name's super close. The Super Giant, if y'all don't know, is currently the Hades developer.
Mm-hmm. But Supermassive, they've been around since 2008. They have developed 28 games. Jeez. They're based out of Guildford, Surrey, England, and they have, as of earlier this year, they have 350 employees.
Yeah. So we did a Man of Medan a while back.
That was episode 28, way early on.
Really? It's been that long.
Weird. And not a single one of the other games have come to Game Pass.
That's crazy because that's been a long time. So we've been waiting. So Man of Medan was on Game Pass. Mm-hmm. I'm like, cool, we'll play it. Because I want to buy it. These games are so short, you don't want to buy it. Well, Quarry's a little longer. But the Man of Medan, the series it's in are really short. We've been waiting for the other ones to come to Game Pass because we don't want to buy them and beat them in like 2 nights and then not have it anymore. It's been that long waiting for any of these other games to come to Game Pass, which is crazy because we played Quarry on Game Pass.
Yeah, bonkers.
Wow, that is nuts. Mm-hmm. So I guess you talked. That's been so. I was bringing it up because I was like, oh, we talked about it recently. We don't want to dig into the developer too much, but
that was
it's been years probably since we talked about Man of Medan.
I don't have too much as far as I can tell. They haven't had too much strife, which is good. They haven't, they've just been steadily making games since 2008. But when they first started out, they were their first couple of things revolved around Little Big Planet. Mm-hmm. They were doing Little Big Planet, specifically Little Big Planet DLC, and then something for the PlayStation Move called Sackboy's Prehistoric Adventure, and then there's Little Big Planet 2, strictly DLC, and then the Little Big Planet PS Vita, strictly the DLC part. And then there's some smaller things in there. There is some VR stuff, something called Tumble, and then Start the Party, Save the World. All these things are on the PlayStation Move. That was specifically what they were doing, PlayStation Move stuff early on. And so that was from 2009 when they started doing the Little Big Planet stuff, all the way until 2012, so 3 years of just doing that stuff, where they did their first semi-original game. Not really. It's called Doctor Who: The Eternity Clock. It's another, licensed.
Yeah, we never played any of those Doctor Who games. It's weird. We're big Doctor Who fans, but just never played any of the games they put out.
And then they did something. They did the HD remake of Killzone. They did because I guess they were owned by Sony.
Are they Sony? They're not Supermassive. Are they? I don't even know if they are Sony owned company. This seems a lot to be. Well, no, they're definitely not because they're.
It says until 2018 they exclusively worked with PlayStation.
I was going to say that if they were Sony owned, their games would not be on other consoles.
They weren't owned; they just exclusively worked with.
I get it. Yeah, that's true.
But then
Sony never tried to snatch them up. Then
yeah, maybe they're like, no, thank you.
I don't know.
But then They did some like other weird things. Oh, and then 2015 is when they did their actual first original game, which was Until Dawn. Mm-hmm. And then less than a year later, they put out the VR game again because they were still doing the VR stuff. But the Until Dawn Rush of Blood.
Yeah, I didn't play it, but I watched. We watched Jessica play it one evening a little bit, and because the PlayStation, the Move stuff is so jacked up, and the PlayStation VR 1 wasn't. It was cool, but like wasn't like 100. Like it's not to the standard of VR today, and the Move controllers was obviously everybody knows was a big mistake. So
yeah, it wasn't.
She had a hard time kind of playing what maybe could have been a cool game.
And then they would stick to the VR stuff for a while. Even after that, they did Tumble. They remade a game they already made, but in VR, Tumble VR. Then something called Hidden Agenda, The Inpatient, Bravo Team.
The Inpatient was something we played too. I think she played.
Did we play it?
The Inpatient, I think it's Until Dawn adjacent.
It might be. I don't know. Yeah. I recognize the name, but I don't remember playing it.
Hidden Agenda sounds familiar too. But did we play Hidden Agenda? Sounds familiar. Oh, it was was Hidden Agenda not the game where you play for your phones and you find evidence and stuff and you play together and you're watching a thing and you pick...
No, this is like specific decisions made using your Android and iOS smartphones.
We played it like one night. Like the entire game can be played in one night. So I don't remember. Maybe me and Jessica played it.
I think maybe y'all did doing some fun stuff. And then something I don't really know of, but the Google Daydream.
Never heard of it.
They did a game called Shattered State. And then in 2019...
They made the only game on the Google Daydream?
Maybe. And then in 2019 is when they started the Dark Pictures anthology with Man of Medan. And then they would go on to keep doing a couple of those. Little Hope, House of Ashes, The Devil in Me.
Yeah, we only played the first one.
And then they actually did a VR version called the Switchback VR.
Yeah. So I wanted to play the other ones because like I didn't like Man of Medan all that much, but people remember... I think all four of them will have it, but Man of Medan had co-op, and co-op horror
is unique.
In this style of game is completely unique. We always talk about a dream game would be like a game where you have like stats and you have to make dialogue choices against another, and you have to roll against another human being's stats. That's not what this was. This is like you're still making dialogue choices for a character within the story where another human being is playing. Basically, weren't we?
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool and rare. But our best parts were some scares. It was like I touched a collectible that was like whatever, and then Blake come behind me and touched the same collectible, and like a ghost reached out of it and he screamed like a baby while we were playing together, which was hilarious.
Because I'm a
and
little
then
sissy.
I'll be quick about the most fantastic scene in that game where we're separated walking on different parts of the Man of Medan, which is the ship. And I'm walking down a hallway, and I'm walking with who I thought was Blake, and I'm like, hey, cool, there you are. We're on the same hallway, and Blake was like, yeah, I'm
down in the galley. I'm in the kitchens, bro.
Yeah, I'm in the kitchen, like whatever. I'm not in that hallway, and I actually got chills because I was not walking with Blake. I was walking with a spirit or whatever it was, and I was like, saying it in words does not give it justice. I wonder how many people played co-op if the game always sets up that moment for the other co-op person.
I hope so.
It was like the coolest thing. So I wonder if there's other little hidden moments like that through the rest of this franchise. I just don't want to pay $20 a game to play for one night.
Yeah,
the games are expensive.
I think we beat it over the course of because we played it on like a Saturday.
It'd have been no more than two sittings. The games are short, but that was the coolest stuff. But this kind of game in co-op is pretty cool. Obviously, and they only explore that in that because Quarry's single. Well, no, Quarry you can do a multiplayer kind of version of it,
but it's like pass the controller or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe when I'm wrong, maybe we can play it fully in co-op. But no, I mean I kind of wouldn't do it now that we've done beat it. But
maybe you can go try Jessica or something.
Yeah, I've debated buying it on PlayStation to play with her. Yeah, because it's a pretty cool game.
And the other thing, in the midst of making all the Dark Pictures anthology stuff, they did go out to do another enhanced version. They did Little Nightmares 2 Enhanced Edition. Yeah,
and aren't they the full developer for Little Nightmares 3 now?
That's what I was going to get to. Yeah, Little Nightmares 3 coming out October later this year.
I wonder what that company's doing, because they made 1 and 2, and we liked them both. I think 1 was probably better.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just pass off 3 to a different developer. It's so strange, especially a developer like this who doesn't really have that kind of experience.
They don't do stylized; they do
real people most of the time. Yeah, so it's kind of strange. I mean, it comes out soon, I think.
October,
yeah, of course, Halloween time. So we'll definitely we'll play Little Nightmares 3 and see what they've. I imagine it'll be relatively similar in play style and stuff to the first 2. You don't want to branch out too far.
Yeah, that's what it looked like when I clicked on it. The other thing is these are 2 games that I haven't heard of yet. Besides, because they've been so focused on the Dark Pictures, but I don't know if those are done yet. Because the last one they did was in 23, and that was the Dark Pictures Switchback VR. But these other 2 games I haven't heard of yet. One's called The Casting of Frank Stone. It is an interactive drama horror game similar to the other things, but this game is actually set in the Dead by Daylight universe.
All collaboration then.
So that might be kind of interesting.
Is it a standalone game though?
Yeah, I think so. It says it's just set in the world of Dead by Daylight. So you didn't say
what type of game is it?
It's it says it's an interactive drama horror video game.
So like their normal style.
Yeah, but it's set in the. So it might be worth checking out.
Look into, yeah.
And then
because go ahead, the last one. Yeah, is that the one that's announced?
Yeah, it's for 2026, and it says it's the same thing. It's an interactive drama survival horror game. It says it's the 5th game of the Dark Pictures anthology, which will feature a multi-linear plot, which decisions can significantly alter the trajectory of the story and permanent death, blah, 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 like all their other games. But it's called Directive 8020.
Yeah, it's their first one in space. So everybody's kind of excited about it.
Yeah, colonial spaceship, the Cassiopeia. So we'll see... who's that? Okay, I kind of recognize her. But yeah... So I'm curious about that one. The space horror game is.
I'm curious about all of them because the thing about this company, I like back in the day with Until Dawn, like the world kind of
slobbed on that.
Slobbed all over Until Dawn. I think a lot of it was graphics. I didn't think playing Until Dawn, I didn't think it was that good. And also I really quickly discovered. Plot armor, like 2 characters can't die throughout the whole game. If you don't know, if you play Until Dawn, there's 2 characters who can't die until one, you have to have everybody, like some other people die first, otherwise he's invincible because they're important to the plot. It's the 2 the main Hayden Panettiere and then the other guy,
Brent Ward, I think.
Yeah, they're basically invincible the whole game until a certain point. Hayden Panettiere can't die until like the last 10 minutes,
to like literally the last scene.
Yeah,
and then
so
dude doesn't die.
He doesn't die at all.
He can't die.
You sure? I thought that was like a kill everybody.
There's a kill anything, but he literally can't die until after she's dead.
Yeah, something like that. So like you really like all this the
spoiler alert
for Until Dawn. Yeah, because they remastered it recently for some reason. Some folks are playing it for the first time. So sorry to spoil like the most of your people. Well, those 2 characters are invincible the whole thing. So their situations are they're invincible. So I don't know what else to say. So but I figured that out fairly early when I was somehow I forget how I figured it out, but when I was playing it. And this game suffers from something too, like which we'll talk about here in a second. Is like a seemingly minor choice will kill a character, and you're like, oh, I guess I'm done with that character now. You'll, and I did one literally in mine where I walked left instead of right, and my character got killed in my Quarry playthrough. So that's kind of thing I think they got to kind of work on. That wasn't the case with Man of Medan. Like I think your 2 characters we played as, or we kept jumping characters. I can't remember.
We were jumping between 4 characters. I can't remember. It was so long ago. I can't remember if they died or not.
That's so long ago. Yeah, I could barely remember. I was scrolling but forgive us because I'm going to be scrolling back and forth through the character list here that I have in front of me for the Quarry to try to remember which of my characters died. Because you had some die too. You had some die different than me.
Yeah, but
based off of minor mistakes.
It was a single thing near the end of the game.
Oh, with the gun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I lost everybody.
Like back to back.
Yeah, because it does the thing where it teaches you how to do it like real early in the game,
and you never do it again for a long time.
But you don't do it again until the final chapter, and I swear I missed every single.
Yeah, I didn't have anybody die that way. Let's talk about so that's their history. Well, what I'll say about them again. That's for a friend. I don't love any of this company's games, but because of their style and what they're doing and those kind of the stories they're telling. You're always like I'm always interested in their games. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like I'm interested and I play it. And I'm kind of like, I actually enjoyed I will say on the front, I did enjoy my playthrough of the Quarry. I actually think I like Quarry more than Until Dawn because Quarry doesn't fool around as much. I think they're trying to find like the perfect length of this kind of genre, maybe because like Until Dawn drags really hard, and Until Dawn can be very, very boring. The Quarry's shorter, and I think you get a lot of better cutscenes. And I will say, memory doesn't serve me off for that because of the distance of these games. But I remember telling Blake that when I was getting to playing this game and getting through this game, they didn't do a cliche where there's I mean these characters have some archetypes, but nobody's irritating.
Yeah, no.
Which I think was a really cool thing to like. There's not like a there's not like a stuck up bitch, and there's not like all this other stuff. There's just like these are just like people at this place, but you get these individual characters. I do have a favorite character as I was scrolling through, so I'll tell you which one was my favorite when we get to him. I remembered him as soon as I saw him. But they don't do that thing where like you're like there's like and there's literally a jock guy who's not an annoying jock. He's just a guy he's kind of a jock, but he's also kind of these are just kind of people. And I think it's one of their best representations of just all these people that just know each other from going to this place, you know? So I think that's done really well as compared to like the cliche, because they could have just they could have just locked them all into cliches. Yeah. They could have, and that normally what they would do. So I'll give them credit for, at least in the Quarry, on their characters here.
Before we get into because the cast is huge. They have like 19 people. I'm not going to go into every single buddy and go into the whole IMDb, but I would like to go into them and just mention something that they're like the biggest thing they're known for, so that people at least kind of know who they are. But before I get to the cast, just real quick, the game, the director is a gentleman named Will Biles. He's only done, he did this, Until Dawn, and then some other game called Zubo, which he was with a different studio at the time.
Same director as Until Dawn.
Mm-hmm. He also, he was a co-writer for Quarry and Until Dawn. They have two other writers besides him, a gentleman named Alex Farnham. He is responsible for, of course, this game, The Devil in Me, and then he actually randomly did the DLC Burning Shores for Horizon Forbidden West.
He wrote for it?
He wrote he didn't write the main, but he wrote
I really got to play her.
It said he wrote additional storylines.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of NPCs and stuff.
But then the other one, I guess probably the biggest writer they have is a gentleman named Graham Resnick. He Until Dawn, Rush of Blood, Impatient, Hidden Agenda, Man of Medan, the casting of Frank Stone, as well as he actually wrote the Until Dawn movie that came out last year.
Which is bonkers, because that movie has nothing to do with the video. It's so crazy. I'm going to go on a small rant. In the world where things like Last of Us and Fallout and Twisted Metal, all these things are doing really good because they're like the video game. Mm-hmm. People continue to make things that have nothing to do with the video game. Until Dawn is name only. It has nothing to do with that video game, which is insane. Completely insane. Might be a fun movie. The synopsis of the movie sounds cool, but it literally has nothing to do with that video game. Yeah. Completely bonkers. Why wait 10 years or whatever to make a movie based off a video game and then not make the movie that's based off the video game?
I think they had more fun with it because the whole thing is it's like a Groundhog's Day of death is what it sounds like. So they just wanted to have more fun with it because it lends into the fact that you're playing through the game multiple times and trying to make it to the end. People die one time, people don't die another time.
Yeah.
So it probably makes more sense. We're just judging it from an outside perspective. But I do want to watch it eventually.
You read the synopsis for that movie? It has nothing to do with the video games. What was that? What's that other game? The one, the case of whoever? I want to look it up while you're telling us.
I think it's called the casting of Frank Stone.
Okay. I want to look that one up while you're talking.
All right. So very quickly, like I said, I'm just going to kind of plow through the actors or the core camp counselors, and I'll mention some of the other people as we get to them. But our core camp, we have Laura Kearney, who's played by Siobhan Williams. And I'm just, like I said, going off the first thing. Unfortunately, when I click on her, it says the thing she's most known for is the Quarry, as Laura Kearney says, and help people. But some smaller stuff that she has been in, she was in...
So like one thing per person. There's too many people.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to find... She was in Hell on Wheels, which was like an an AMC Western show. She was like 6 or 7 episodes of that. They say she's younger, and the career hasn't fully taken off. She did 40 episodes of a Beyblade show, when she was voice acting for that. And then her boyfriend is a gentleman named Max, played by Skylar Grisando. He's got quite a few things, but his big thing, his most recent thing, actually, I'll bring it up, is he plays Jimmy Olsen in the Superman movie, the brand spanking new one.
Yeah, and then I was scrolling the characters. I saw his face. I was like, what did I see him in recently?
It was Superman.
Yeah, so that's his thing right now.
But yeah, and he's also in that Vacation movie with Ed Helms. And then we have, let's see, who's the other? Then we have Dylan, who was played by Miles Robbins, most known for playing, he was in that movie Blockers with John Cena and all them.
Yeah,
he's one of the boyfriends.
I didn't watch it.
And then Daniel Isn't Real, and the Halloween 2018 version. Then we have Emma, who's played by Halston Sage. Her big thing is she was in The Neighbors, Grown Up 2, and she's in The Orville as Lieutenant Allura, the alien, the super strong alien girl.
Dude, we didn't watch it. We didn't watch that show. We didn't watch that show in 10 years.
Then now we're getting to some bigger folk. Justice Smith plays Ryan. Justice Smith is a lot of stuff, but the things that I know, he's in like the Jurassic Worlds. He's in Detective Pikachu. He's the main character besides Pikachu. He's in Dungeons and Dragons. He's Simon the wizard who doesn't really know much about magic, and quite a few other things. Then we have Brenda Song, who plays Caitlin. Brenda Song, everyone knows who Brenda Song is. Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. She's what's her name? God. Something London. Oh my God, what is her name? Oh my God, I'm so stupid right now. Anyway, she's married to Macaulay Culkin, and she's all over the place. I do like Brenda Song quite a bit. And then who else is left? God, okay, there's a bunch more. Zach Tinker plays Jacob. Big thing is, unfortunately, he has a smaller career too. It says his number one thing known for is The Quarry, but he's also did 23 episodes of Young and the Restless, and he's got a couple episodes of the 911 show. And then we have Evan Ivagora, who plays Nick. Again, the only thing he's really known for is playing in Quarry, as well as, he has 15 episodes of Star Trek Picard, so that's good. And then that horror movie Fantasy Island. And then our final camp counselor is Ariel Winter, plays Abigail. Her biggest thing is she's on that show Modern Family. She's not Haley, but she's the other daughter with the glasses, the smart one, and she's done a couple other things since then, but that's her main thing. And then there's a couple other big horror icons that appear in the movie. We have David Arquette, plays Chris Hackett, the actual owner of the camp. David Arquette from, of course, all the Screams and being David Arquette. Ethan Suplee plays one of the family members. Ethan Suplee from My Name is Earl plays Randy. Lance Henrik plays Jedediah, also from Aliens, from Pumpkinhead. He's a lot of horror icon himself. And then Lynn Shay plays Constance. She's another member of that family. Lynn Shay is from the what is that? Not Sinister, Insidious. She plays in the Insidious movies. She's like a psychic. And normally I'd spend a little more time on them, but there's too big of a cast. All did a hell of a good job. And yes. But I'm assuming that you have like a list, and I'm not sure how you want to go in. Well, we're not going to go story by story.
No, we just have to talk about how the game plays and the story itself of the game. Let's go on that way.
Hold on, I have to switch between different windows. Okay, so like their previous games, it's a third-person interactive survival horror game with like little mini games and QTEs. You do throughout the course of the game control 9 different teenagers, but it's funny because I was looking at some of like the did you know things, and one of the did you know things is, yes, it's advertised that you get to play as 9 different people, but one of them you play as Max, but you only get to play as him if he survived until the last chapter, and you play him in the last chapter for only between 5 and 7 minutes for a section.
Oh, really?
And that's it. But you do get to play as all 9 camp counselors, which I think is kind of silly. The person who does end up having the most playable sections is Laura Kearney. She's essentially the main character because she has the prologue, and then you kind of play as everybody, and about halfway through the game, you play as her for a large chunk, because you play her backstory of how she ended up at the camp counselor, and then you play as her like a couple of times as she's exploring the campgrounds. So that's pretty crazy. The game on average is about 10 hours, is what people talk about.
Let me see how long mine was.
Mine was 11 and a half hours. I played 11 hours, 25 minutes. I got 23 of the 40 achievements.
Yeah, the thing about these games, and you don't want to hunt. People don't really like to hunt achievements in these games because of player death can alter achievements and stuff like that. But I played 8.5 hours, and I just wanted to beat the story. Yeah.
Speaking of that, according to the because it's divided into 10 chapters, along with a prologue and an epilogue. So really, that's 12 chapters. Due to the game's branching storylines, it actually has roughly 186 different endings determined by QTE events and player choices. But it could be as simple as someone gets their hand blown off or cut off, as opposed, and they live all the way to the end of the night and stuff like that. Though, I think after, I don't know if it's from the get-go, but I think you have to beat the game first. And once you beat the game first, you get access to something called the Death Rewind feature, which will let you undo up to 3 deaths per playthrough. You can't undo all deaths, but you can fix up to 3.
I just played. Did you play naturally?
It's played naturally. Okay. Yeah. We mentioned a second ago, Drew. There is a local and online multiplayer feature. In the local, the players just take control of different characters, while in the online mode, up to 7 other people can participate in vote-taking decisions of choices. Like if you say when you went left and right, you went left and died, but if more people had chose right, you would have went right and saved your person. That's not quite what we're...
No, it's not.
Stats versus stats, but it's a little poll.
No, not exactly the same. Just looking at other stuff too, trying to figure out. I was looking at because the other games, Dark Pictures games are on Game Pass or GameFly, and I was looking if it's like the other company that's doing like Split Fiction stuff like that.
Oh, It Takes Two, and what are they called?
Hazelight.
Hazelight.
So their multiplayer games let you have one copy, and the other person downloads a client. So you only have one person needs to own the game to play it. And I was trying to Google, because Little Hope and all the other games are on Game Pass. But like when you Google it, you're like, no, both players must own the game to play the co-op. And I was like, God, that sucks. But anyway, so I wonder if the Quarry works like that too, like on Game Pass. Like we should have played it. We probably should have played it co-op, but I don't really see any moments in this game that would have benefited from co-op. I wonder if we would have played it, because we played Man of Medan co-op only, so we always wondered if the game changed if you played single player.
Yeah, because there's a whole section that you don't even get access to if you play co-op. You get what's his name, Sean Ashmore or Aaron? They're twins. I don't know if it was Sean or Aaron.
I think Sean Axmore, doesn't he?
Yeah, but because we saw him come back to the boat and then the game ended. But if you're playing solo, you get to play as him because his is a solo only.
Okay.
So we didn't even see the whole story.
Yeah, I was wondering. So I wonder if this game would be different if we had played it. And I'm not gonna buy it, but like just to play it again. But I just wonder.
There was another kind of a weird feature too, called movie mode, where you go in and you apparently you can select a personality type for the characters. Like you have a list, and you're like, do you want them to be this? You pick the decisions of what you want your characters to be like, and then you just hit play. And you just watch the game.
That's crazy. It's cool, but like, man, come on.
Yeah.
Those parts you walk around.
It says you just watch the game. Maybe you just watch the cutscenes or stuff like that.
There's parts you walk from place to place. I wonder how it works, but I'm not going to watch this game again. That's a cool feature.
I started one because there's an achievement tied to it.
For starting it?
Yeah, for starting one.
Yeah. Once you get to any part where you're supposed to walk around?
I don't know. I just started, put the achievement, and then ended the game.
Of course you did.
And I was like, okay, I'm not going to... Because if I played for 11 and a half hours, I'm not going to watch an 11 and a half hour movie. But if it's going, I don't know how it would work. Maybe it'd be like a 4-hour movie.
If you hung out for 2 minutes, you would have seen when it got to a walking part.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. There's also these tarot cards that you could find because they're
collectibles. Well, they do you grab one and you get a brief glimpse of a future event. These are so short that they're unhelpful.
Honestly, yeah.
Completely unhelpful. I get it. They can't show you too much, give you too much of an advantage. But I think they're not one. I was like, okay, remember that scene coming up. Like, no,
I'll be in the kitchen. Remember the kitchen, and then I'm like walking around, and I was like, "Where the heck's the kitchen?" You don't end up in a kitchen. You end up in like
it's just
somewhere
like,
else. Someone's
but they flash by, and you're just like, oh, okay.
It's literally a second.
Yeah, of a flash of a tarot card. I guess it's supposed to. They mostly land as like a collectible, and those little interstitials. What do you call them? Where that lady talks to you, kind of like the Until Dawn.
Yeah,
and stuff like
the
that.
Intermissions with the narrative with the.
They love this developer, man. They love an intermission with a known actor talking to you about the game.
Yeah, this is a fortune teller named Eliza, played by Grace Zabriskie. Her biggest thing is she's a real David Lynch person, but she was in the Twin Peaks as Sarah Palmer, is Laura Palmer's mother.
Cool.
And then we saw her in that movie just recently. That what was that movie called? Planet Terror. She was in that like cerebral horror movie, but she's in all sorts of stuff. Great actress. I will say, out of everything, I'm a little spoiler alerts. Let me go ahead and spoiler alert. If you have not played Quarry yet, we're going to talk about.
Yeah, because it's a slight mystery to what, like, I didn't actually know, because I don't know if they all focus on all their games focus on a particular horror. Like Until Dawn was like, turns out it's like Wendigos. I don't know. Man of Medan was just Ghost. Like, it's pretty much Ghost Ship, basically. Yeah. I don't know about the other games, but this game has a central creature or horror element in the center of it. I mean, remember, we already said spoilers. Quarry's werewolves. I didn't know that, and I like not knowing. I didn't know that going in, so I didn't know what was going on until you first start seeing the werewolves. These are really crappy looking werewolves.
That was my thing. Is they looked way too much like the Wendigos.
Yeah.
Early on, they're like furless werewolves.
Yeah.
Or their fur is so small, maybe like a pit bull or something. But like the first time I saw one, I was like, "Oh God, are we doing Wendigos again?" Yeah. But a Wendigo is basically a werewolf anyway. It's a demonic spirit that possesses a human who has consumed human flesh, according to what I don't know which one in particular, but to like Indian, Native American culture, mythology or whatever. But the first time I saw one, I was like, "Oh my God, really?" Yeah, we're doing Wendigos, but then they're like, "Oh, they're werewolves." I was like, "Okay, that's slightly different." But they move the same way. They have like the elongated limbs. It was a little lazy, but I get like you don't want to have fur constantly moving and stuff like that.
You think you would? They all have all the characters. You don't realistic.
They spend all their money on the characters, I think, and stuff like that with their hair and stuff. And they're like, "Well, let's just make a furless."
They do this one, so they do like explode
violently,
like when you turn into a werewolf, I guess all your skin just explodes off.
Well, it's kind of like there's other lore when it comes to werewolves where your skinwalker, which is similar to a Wendigo, which the human suit, it's just a suit. The werewolf is what's real. So when they transform, it does literally explode out. Like we saw that in one of the cooler transformations of werewolves we ever saw. Two of my favorites is the Van Helsing, the 2004 version with Hugh Jackman, where the dude rips his skin off and the werewolf is underneath because it's a suit. And then in that Hemlock Grove, where the character turns into a wolf, but he rips out of his skin and then eats the suit, and you're like, "Oh crap," you know. So it's doing that mythos where it's a skin suit, so it's cool.
Yeah, they explode, blood is flood. It ends up pretty much a lot of people just being as an excuse for a lot of folks to just be covered in blood.
Covered in blood.
Yeah.
And so because you start with the prologue. You have two people, Laura and Max, on their way to a camp, and then their prologue is they end up running into the police chief, which is Ted Raimi's character, and then they get arrested. But that teaches you a lot of like how the game works, QTEs and decision making. It's your prologue. One really cool thing about the prologue I really enjoyed, however, were these the tutorial videos were hilarious, and I liked them a lot. You remember them, Drew?
I do now. They pop across the screen to teach you something. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember. God, hold on. I gotta get back to my bouncing through a couple of different windows.
What's happening here?
Oh, I'm trying to find my notes because I have to bounce back and forth between so many different things. Where is Quarry? Here we go. Okay, yeah. So these tutorial animations which were like a I don't know, like an old Mickey Mouse cartoon. It's like, hey guys, let's do this. Don't fight the bear. And there's really comedic, and it was like there were your tutorials. It's like how to shoot the gun, how to make a decision, and it was like, well, don't make the wrong decision because you'll get got. And it even had like the animated werewolf come in and like bite. It was really like old school Disney, like Steamboat Willie, these black and white cartoons, and they were filled for all the tutorials. And you go back and rewatch them, and they were cute and silly and funny, and I just liked them. And but yeah, I just wanted to bring that up before we got too far into the game, talking about because the tutorial animations were funny. And so I think you mentioned earlier that you said you had a favorite character that you wanted to.
We know about all the characters, but a little bit. What was my character's name? So I'm looking at all the different stuff here on the. Gosh, those are so many characters. It's hard to get everything to pull up like you want it to.
Pull up in one big.
I think I landed on just liking him the most, just because his personality and stuff like that was. Oh my God, Dylan. That's right, Dylan.
I think you like Dylan the most.
Yeah, because he goes through some stuff, goes through a lot of stuff too. I think did he lose a hand at some point?
You can choose to have him lose a hand.
He loses a hand.
Because
that's not why I liked him. Because it's hard, you can't go into all of these because there's so many freaking characters. But personality wise and the general character, I liked Dylan the most. I think my least favorite might have been right on my list. Right been Ryan. He just like the way he talked and the way he acted was just like really kind of boring and lame.
He was just so nonchalant.
Just this monotone, just like nobody character.
Yeah, he's just
I don't know. What do we know him from? If like
that was Justice Smith.
Yeah,
that was from
Pikachu and stuff. Yeah, so I guess he had the lame job of playing this. All these other good characters, he had like this lame job of playing this moody, just nobody character.
Just like, I don't want to be here.
He didn't talk like that. He just talked so monotone and just had nothing interesting to say.
Yeah, honestly, because I don't know if I had a least favorite character, because I didn't care for... Probably the character I cared for the least is the character you play through the least. There's a character, Nick, and he's the first... He's like the first person who gets attacked, and then he just spends the rest of the game, hurt. He's whining and being hurt. But yeah, he was just there.
I'm looking at the character. I think Abigail, the little redheaded girl, she was sidelined pretty hard, like almost.
Because she witnesses the attack on Nick, and then you can choose to try to save him or not try to save him, and then she spends the rest of the game kind of traumatized. Like, I think
sidelined. I feel like she's kind of sidelined, and then the Asian girl, Caitlin, doesn't have any kind of major stuff. It seems to like to focus on those. You spend more time. Like they're all around, but like I don't even remember this on Nicholas. Okay, so that's Nick. I was like, who's Nicholas?
And you don't spend so you do play as all of them, but you don't spend enough time with them because like even with
it's a long enough depending on how long they're alive and stuff like that too. I guess.
Yeah, but the main people you tend to play as are Dylan, Ryan, and Laura. Mm-hmm. They're the ones, like I said earlier, mostly Laura. Laura is the character you play as for majority of the time, like 40% of the time you're playing the game, you're her. Do
you remember which, so everybody kind of knows how these games play. You walk around and explore, and then you have cutscenes and you make choices, and then QTEs to try to stay alive. So people know how it plays. We mentioned how the game looks, right? Because like you mentioned how if you played familiar with Until Dawn or Dark Pictures, this is using the real faces and stuff like that.
The Unreal Engine 4, the game is gorgeous.
This is still on 4?
Yeah, that was on 4, yeah. Which is funny because we talked about just because it's right here side by side in my notes. But when we talked about Banishers not too long ago, that was Unreal 5. So this game could look even better just a couple of years later.
I guess our next game will be on 5.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you remember...
hyper-realism, photorealism is the word I'm looking for.
I scrolled through the characters. I remember who died in my game. So you had a lot of people die back to back. I'm looking at mine. You said Nick doesn't survive, most likely. Mm-hmm. I think everybody else in my game... I can't remember with Laura or Max. I know 2 characters that I'm looking on my list that I know they died, and I know how they died, and both were very disappointing to me. Do you remember your characters and how they died?
At the end of mine, I literally because it started because because the whole game takes place in one evening. Mm-hmm. The whole game takes place over the course of one evening, and then, like I said, near the end of the game, like the final stand, we're all hiding in like the big camp counselor, big cabin. That's where I look for the cabin. And I'm being accosted by the werewolves. And you're supposed to, you have a gun now, and you can start shooting, but you do the tutorial, and you don't shoot another gun again until now. And you have to be so precise on the gun. You have like, I'm not even sure. Was this the one that had like an accessibility feature where you could extend the timer, or am I thinking of a different game?
It had to be, yeah. I think I maxed out all timers and blah, blah, blah. And
yeah, so in the spur of the moment, I felt that I had less time than I did. So I'm like having to like move the cursor over, and I'm firing, and I literally missed the 4 shots that mattered. And in the final chapter, because I missed the shot, I lost Ryan, Laura, Nick, and Caitlin. I did so bad, I lost so many people that I didn't even actually get to see the epilogue. I didn't get to see the main bad guy, the white wolf that turned all these people into werewolves.
You missed that part.
I did, because everyone died. So many people died. Because I was like, what is happening? I got so, like, I loved the game, and then the ending happened, and I was so furious at my own inadequacies to do the game that it made me dislike it.
It ruined your whole experience.
It ruined my whole experience, because I was like, what is happening here? Why do I suck so bad at the gunplay? But I literally, in the final chapter, I lost 4 people. Everyone was alive up to that point, and then the final chapter, I lost 4 people. Which is really funny, is the people that died in my game were people that lived in yours, and people that died in yours lived in mine. Like, one of your very first people, I think, died was Emma.
Yeah, and it was stupid. Like, literally stupid. Like,
you turned left. You went left.
I opened a door.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Remember, I told you don't. I was like, I even warned you. I was like, if you see a trap door in a cabin, don't open it, because it just kills a character. I'm walking around as Emma. And I'm walking and exploring this place, and there's like you walk into this place. There's like a collectible here, and then there's like when you open the thing and like open a trap door, and you go up or climb a ladder up to a thing. Open a trap door. Werewolf killed her.
Yeah, I
was just like, seriously? I'm just generally exploring. There's no sense and this is like not like running from a werewolf. I gotta hide somewhere. It's not even that. It's a regular walk around exploring scene. Of course, you're going to get the collectible and open the doors and touch all this stuff. Of course, everybody does that. So she has to have such a high death ratio, because people just open this door and she just gets murdered for no reason.
Yeah, well, because what it is you
that's early in the game for her. So like all her other scenes and plot for her, I didn't get none of it.
Because you told me about that, so I fully explored the cabin, which included her getting, because she's like running around in her underwear, because she's running, cause they went night swimming, her and the boy Jacob. So I get her clothes on, I like find a weapon to use, I find some bear mace. She's like, oh, this might come in handy. And then like I find a couple other things, and then whilst I'm exploring, the door on the roof rattles and gives me a sense of like, uh-oh, I'm not going up there, let me go out the door. And then I walk out the door, and as I'm walking, then it jumps off the thing, and I have to go through like a little left and right dodgy thing on this like elevated walkway, and then I do get to use my weapon, this bear mace, on the thing, and have her survive for the rest of the game.
Yeah, it sucks. I just got killed for no reason.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things I was looking at. Some of like the reviews and stuff. People talked about the abrupt endings to certain characters, like just dead.
Yeah,
I think you had another one.
My other one was, I think it was Jacob.
He's in the lake or something. You said.
No, he's in that cage. He was captured later by the family, and he's in the cage. He's in one side of the cage, and the other person's in the other side of the cage. The werewolf's in the other cage. Nick, yeah. And you just make one wrong little button press, and the cage is open up, and the werewolf just kills him. Yeah. There's nothing you can do about it, because you hit one button wrong.
I think the only reason mine survived is because when I was down there with Laura and I was exploring everything, like I'm talking to Jacob, I'm like, okay, dude, because we have to be quiet, because we know that the werewolf is asleep in the other cage. We're like, all right, we're going to get you out. It looks like we're going to follow these breakers all the way down here. And then boom! Laura walked over and just blasted the werewolf's head off. And I didn't find out till later when it was showing me like, well, people died. It was like Nick, and I was like, when did Nick die? And it showed the headless werewolf from the cage. It's like, oh, that was Nick. Or it just blew his brains out because of like other things.
I think it does the thing, because like some folks I think got turned, and then if you kill the wolf that turned them, then they can turn
back. Yeah, because they're infected or whatever. They're not fully turned. But yeah, I mean,
so all your folks died based on the shooting. incidents?
Yeah, all 4 of the people that died in my game, 4 of the 9 were that final section. Well, 5 of the 9 people, because Nick died too, but I didn't have any control over that. That was literally the game played out.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
It was cool. Like I literally loved the game, and then the ending started happening. And then people started dropping like flies because I couldn't get the shooting right, and I was so furious because I did so many people died that the game was like, and the game's over. And then I was talking to you, and you're like, "Yeah, did you fight the white wolf?" And I was like, "What the hell's
the fight that you meted? I guess you go try to find it." Dang, now I wish you would. Now I don't remember what it was. What? I know it links to that. It's that lady. The lady in the
it's her son.
Interstitial, her son, yeah, because they did the campers did something. They like set a fire by accident or something like that.
Way back in the day.
So she cursed the whole family. So
the Hackett family,
or the werewolves, because they were cursed by her. Yeah, basically, it's not an original story, but you know.
Mm-hmm. But that's stuff that you piece together throughout. Mm-hmm. It's hinted at, and then the epilogue ties it all together. But I didn't get any of that.
That's crazy. You just don't.
I didn't get any because so many people.
I guess they expect you to just replay so you can see what happened. No thanks. Everybody died, and that's my story, and now it's screwed. I'm not playing it again.
Yeah,
I don't know how many folks like just replay these games besides like Achievement Hunter or something like that to just replay these games. It's too long, 8 hours. I'm not replaying this, and on the chance that I might make one mistake. I mean, I guess you have the rewinds,
and the rewind only. Well, 2 things: you can purchase for DLC the ability to do death rewinds earlier in the game, or you just beat the game once and then you have access to the death rewind feature for subsequent playthroughs, and it only allows you to rewind, like I said, 3 deaths, and you have a total of 9 in the game. There's 9 playable characters.
Yeah, and multiple chances to die, I'm sure.
Yeah. One thing that I found relatively useless is there was a junkyard scene.
Mm-hmm. And I forget who's there.
For me, in the junkyard scene, because at the time, I'm trying to think. Okay, I had Abby and Emma. They took shelter while Dylan and Caitlin went to the junkyard, and I just went through the junkyard. We were trying to find. I don't remember why we were there.
You didn't have the wolf show up there?
They did at the very, very, very end. Mm-hmm. One of them showed up, but I feel like that it's the whole point of that is it's like completely uneventful. Like, there's you hear stuff, but nothing actually attacks you or anything like that until you're the ending and you do a little QTE or whatever. But I think the whole point of that is maybe it's more suspenseful as if Dylan's infected beforehand, because people have a chance to be infected. But I just played through the whole junkyard, and then the final thing where there's a werewolf hiding in a car or something. You pick up the car with the giant crane magnet and chuck it. But the junkyard felt very pointless to me.
Yeah, I remember there being.
You were there to pick up a piece of the car or something like that. Get the car going.
Because somebody cut something in the car earlier in the game. Or somebody sabotaged the car earlier.
Mm-hmm. But it just felt very. The whole time I was in the junkyard, I was just annoyed by it. One kind of cool thing is Emma finally, for me. It's funny how it happens because Emma survives that encounter, the one that you died abruptly in the with the hatch door. So mine, I make it, and she runs away. She runs back to the camp. She can't make it into the door because the doors are locked into the cabin, and so she turns around and sees the van that's broke down. It's unlocked, so she hides in the van. And then I do not see her again because until everyone comes back together and they get into the van because they have the part to fix it.
So really, she either dies or just hangs out in the van?
Hides in the van, yeah. And then once we open the van door, she attacks one of the people with mace, but it ends up being a hairspray because that's the only weapon she has. And then there's a dialogue, and then she's there, but she hides in the van for a majority of the game. She, like you said, she's either dead or she hides in the van. Really? And then every other time she just kind of stays by the van. It's just kind of it's one of those things where they know she's going to die, so they don't make her very important to the story.
That sucks.
Yeah. The same thing with Jacob. Jacob spends the whole game in his underwear and his boxers, so he's either he gets captured no matter what. You can either have him die running from a werewolf, or you have him dodge right and he steps into a trap that's intended for the werewolves by the Hacketts, and they just assume he's infected, so they take him back and throw him in a cage, and if he's not infected, he'll be a human by sun up or whatever, and you don't even.
Yeah, so we should talk about the Hacketts. Probably aren't they not evil?
They end up not being evil. They're trying to, because their family is cursed, and I think the werewolf that got out not the white wolf, but the wolf that got out started attacking your people ends up being your camp counselor. You're the guy who runs, ends up being Chris Hackett, David Arquette's character. Mm-hmm. And he leaves. He's like, guys, be sure to be out of here by night. He does everything he can to warn you guys. He's like, be out of here by nighttime. Make sure, because everyone's gone. It's the last day of camp. All the kids and everything have gone. It's just the camp counselors locking it down and then leaving for the night. But then, like I said, one of the characters gets butthurt because the girl he likes doesn't like him back. She's like, "Oh, this is just a summer fling. You know, we're going back to our lives." And he, we'll talk about him. Jacob specifically takes out like a spark plug or something. He takes out some sort of thing that keeps the van from working, and he's the cause of basically everyone staying there and dying because he wants to spend another night with Emma to try to convince her that she should stay with him.
He didn't know they're going to be attacked by werewolves.
Yeah, that is true. But it's all his fault.
Yeah, but anyway, but the Hackett family, they're not evil people.
They're trying to capture you guys.
They're trying to save you from themselves.
Yeah,
basically.
Exactly.
Honestly, is what it seems like when you're watching it kind of play out, because they're like red herring ish because they're big. Like, well, one the cop played by
Ted Raimi.
Oh, I forgot. No, sorry, not him too. He's kind of an ass. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like throwing you like, oh, these guy's an ass. But then your other guy, your other counselor guy,
Chris Hackett.
Hackett is
David
Arquette. He's actually kind of nice, but he's the one trying to get you to leave. You're like, this is weird. What's going on?
He's like, leave, guys.
But then you have those scenes in the woods with
Jedediah and
Bobby, played by
Ethan Suplee and Lance Hendrickson.
Yeah. So, but then they both look mean and their characters look mean and creepy and walking through the woods. You're like, okay, this is a bad family that just like, like it's pushing this like this narrative. It's a trick, of course.
Red herring.
A red herring. It's pushing all this on you. But when you finally get into scenes with them where they're not, you know, like I think one of them like rescues one of the kids in the woods, and you're like, that's strange. What's going on? And then you finally get to the thing, and then like they're all when we figure out what's happening, you're like, oh, they weren't trying to hurt you. They're trying to stop you from getting hurt this entire time.
One of the first things you see is like Bobby and Jedediah are like on top of a hill, like a graveyard, and they're like looking down at the kids, and they're like pouring out this viscous liquid in these jars, and they're covering themselves in like blood, and you're like, oh my god, what are these psychos doing? And it's like
reminiscent of Walking Dead. Basically, they're covering you on this stuff because that's what they do. It freaks out. I think it's
either Jacob or Caitlin.
I think it's Jacob because when he's in underwear and they cover him and like he's like, no, what the hell's going on? But like that's how he survives. Part of his naked run around in the woods as he's covered in the stuff that what protects him. It
hides his scent.
Hides his scent from the werewolves. Yeah. So it's kind of, I like that kind of thing where it's like, I mean, that's probably not the original idea either. Like they're portrayed, like the game's kind of tricking you that they're bad. Did the mom, her face blown off immediately?
Oh, yeah, immediately.
I wonder if there's like more dialogue with her. Mine, she just gets shot in the face immediately. Well, it's the mom of the Hackett family.
Yeah, played by Lynn Shay.
Lynn Shay, yeah.
Well, apparently there's a
way to not get her shot in the face.
Yeah, you just don't grab the gun.
Okay, I wonder because I was like,
part of your QT is
I guess everybody packaged
because she's like it's slow mo. She's like slinging it, whoa! She's like pulling a gun towards you.
Because she's actually not going to shoot you, probably.
No, she just wants to don't move. She's trying to control the situation.
Yeah, so people panic because at this point you don't know that they're not trying to hurt
then
you.
You grab the gun, blow her face off, and then the whole family tries to kill you for killing their mom.
Do they even really try to kill you?
They try to hunt you down.
Well, that character.
Yeah.
Maybe that specific character kills them.
Oh, there's two, I think.
But but it's just kind of like it's like, oh, cool, Lynn Shay. Oh, she's dead.
Yeah, I'm not sure she got a line of dialogue out before I blew her brains out.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. Yeah. It's kind of crazy.
Like I said, I'd be.
And this is like Ethan Suplee that people don't really know about. I wish he had more. He has such a small part in this. He's just all muscle. Like this is not the.
He's just a quiet.
This is the current Ethan Suplee that people don't realize is he like lost all that weight and he buffed up,
jacked up.
Yeah, because I don't know how much acting he really does. So this is like if you don't know it's Ethan Suplee, you don't know this big old buff guy chasing you through the woods is Ethan Suplee, which is pretty cool. But he has hardly any dialogue.
Yeah,
it doesn't really get a chance to really do anything in the game.
To really shine his acting skills because he is a good actor. He's been in all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, he's great. So that's kind of cool. I wish he had more parts.
I think one of the things that I think one of the things that endeared me to Dylan, I think because he has the most personality.
He has a lot of personality, and he's funny. He's funnier than
he's
he actually is funny.
Everyone else is kind of like, okay.
Everybody's kind of So I think is that maybe why? Maybe
I think
maybe like a plot trick because he's like the funny one.
Yeah,
that helps him be more entertaining.
Because there's a part where you guys come up with a really sound strategy, and he and Ryan go up because you're not supposed to have any electronics, and the only thing that has electronics is in Chris Hackett's office. There's outlets and stuff like that. So like we go up to Chris's office and plug in our cell phones, and you plug in the cell phones, and then you have like some interactions. You explore the thing, and one of the things is like I think you're playing as Ryan during that particular scene, and you're like, hey, have the cell phones charging, and Dylan's like, I don't know. Let me shout encouragement to him. Come on, cell phones. You can absorb that battery. You can absorb that. He's like a little cheer for the cell phones, and he's like, I don't think it helped at all. Yeah. What we want to do about this? Like, he is. I think because he's the funny one.
Yeah, it makes him more endearing than the other characters.
Because everyone else is so somber and stuff like that. Like you have the smart one and they are their archetypes.
They are archetypes, but like I said, I didn't find even the jock. They're like he's not like who jock. He's not that jock. He's the
whiny jock who didn't get his way. He's a child. He's a man boy.
But I think. I wasn't rolling my eye. I wasn't rolling my eyes at any of that. Maybe what's his name? The little depressed kid.
Ryan,
is that his name? Yeah. Other than him, like I don't think I even rolled my eyes. Like I understood his character. I just didn't care for his character, And then Abigail was just like
she was just broken. Because like she witnessed the again because it's that they all have crushes on one another and stuff like that's the summer romance thing. She's like, oh, I really like Nick, and so her friend, they orchestrate that her and Nick get to go on this walk around the lake. Because what it is they decide to stay one more night and have like a big old bonfire, drink a bunch of beer, and then leave out in the morning.
Mm-hmm. I really shouldn't have.
Yeah, and so like she's like, "Oh, let's go on. I'll go on a walk with you, Nick." Okay, and then immediately he gets accosted and stuff like that, and her whole night's ruined, and she's just terrified. Like I said, you do play through the majority of the game as Laura because you bounce back and forth everyone through this like first evening, and then it's like the actual reveal of the monster is it runs and jumps because part of their mythos too is these particular werewolves can't go across water. It burns them.
I thought that was a vampire.
I thought it was a vampire thing too, but maybe I don't know all werewolf mythos lore or whatever, but these ones can't walk across or go through. I think it has something to do with like hydrophobia, like being like they treat it like because they
like a rabid.
Yeah, they're infected, and so there's a point where I'm trying to think where because is Emma. The part of her thing, the reason she's attacked and is saved is because she is on an island, which she swims out to, encounters that werewolf, and then swims back. She jumps out, of the thing, and like she takes like a zip line, falls into the water, and then swims across.
Did I have somebody else die? Because I remember telling you
Jacob died on your zip line, I think.
No, not zip line. No, Jacob died in the cage with the werewolf. Did I have somebody else die? Remember, that's another one. Because I told you, I said, do not. When you're given the choice to have somebody swim, do not tell them to swim.
Yeah, because they'll go down and get like tangled up in like barbed wire.
I forget Ryan completely. So I don't know if he even died in my game. Oh my God, who was it? Because I remember I told you specifically. I was like, I don't want to spoil anything, but you're at a point in the game where you're told to swim. Do not do it because it'll just get somebody killed.
Well, I think that was Dylan and Ryan. Maybe I don't remember.
Did my Dylan survive?
Was it Caitlin?
No, Caitlin survived too. God, man, we should games like this. We need to do on the podcast right after we play them.
Yeah, right after.
So we play another one of these games. It's going to be like the next episode on the podcast because I swear, because I remember telling you like don't open the trap door and don't. I remember just now you're talking about the lake. I remember I told you I was playing ahead of you a little bit. I was like, do not. I won't tell you what character. I won't spoil anything. Just do not jump into the lake.
Yeah,
and I didn't. And I can't remember why. Dang.
But because one of the the thing I was trying to get to is that Laura Kearney. Her introduction is you guys are all hiding in like the pool house, and this werewolf jumps through the thing, and she comes out with a shotgun, blasts the wolf in the face, and it falls back into the water and sizzles. And then it turns out like it does like the reveal later that they know the girl. They know the girl that's transformed into the werewolf as she dissolves back into being a human after she gets her face blown off. Yeah. Ends up being the guy who runs the camp, Chris. It's his daughter.
Mm-hmm. One of the other Hackett's.
Yeah, one of the other Hackett's. And you're like, whoa, why is she? And then it's revealed too that the werewolf is at the end of the game, because you never go back to that island that's surrounded by in the lake. But that's Chris. That's where he went. That's where he goes to hide himself during full moons, because it's surrounded by water and he can't hurt people.
That's cool, yeah.
And and stuff like that. So I do like I don't understand the mythos of the flowing water or what. Well, it's not even flowing water because she falls into a pool, but it's something to do with pure water.
Yeah, I remember because I think of video games and was it like Legacy of Kain 2, Blood Omen, whatever it was, where you couldn't, which is actually now on PlayStation 5, by the way, but where you couldn't cross water in that video game because of you were Kain the vampire, and you couldn't cross. I guess one of the things in the puzzles in the game is him not able to cross water because of vampire lore of running water. I think it was.
Yeah, it's flowing water, running water, yeah, it's pure or whatever.
Yeah, there's some sort of mystical thing to it, but anyway.
But that threw me for a loop when that happened. But then you get to play the cool thing about, because you play as Laura in the prologue, and then you have everyone run through.
She disappears for a while,
for a long time.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's like God, because the prologue starts. They're on their way to Hackett's Quarry, which is the camp, which is where the quarry comes from. They are accosted, and then they are held captive for 2 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they're supposed to be there at the start of camp to be one of the counselors. They don't come back into the story until the last day of camp. So that's summer vacation, which is about 2 months. So, wow. Or at least a month. I don't know. I think because they have to go through and figure out if one of them is infected or not, and then finds out they're infected, and then she goes on the run, comes back as a bona fide badass, and then you play as her. And then one funny thing is my Laura, which I think is kind of cool. I think it might be a glitch in the game too. I don't know. But my Laura ended up becoming infected, and when you become infected, you get like these black veins that kind of like come.
She was infected. She's the one of mine that was. God, we should have this podcast soon. I think she was infected. She's one of mine that she turned back when we killed. I think maybe it was Chris that got her, because I think when Chris gets blasted with a shotgun, then I think my Laura because she's running around sick in my game, turning. So I think she does get infected at some point. But I think she survived because like somebody ends up blowing off Chris's head, and then she reverts back to herself.
She gets infected by Max in the police station, I think.
I'm not sure. God. Games like this really got
for a game that's fairly simple is fairly complicated with storytelling.
Note to self: next time we play a game like this and involves this much intertwining plot, we got to do the podcast immediately. This is our fault. Sorry for the bad podcast.
But the thing that I'll bring up is she is infected. At one point when I'm playing with her, she is infected. She got her.
She is too. She's in my game. She's sick.
The character model.
She's the one you're watching get sicker and sicker.
She has the character model that's like the black veins up her neck, and then one of her eyes is like turning yellow and stuff like that. But then when you pause, because it does a thing like when you do go into the pause when you just look at your stats,
zoomed up person.
It's like a zoomed in thing on the face, but when her pause screen is she's not infected, and that's just like a coding error.
Oh, really? I didn't even realize.
Her pause screen, she's not infected.
I probably rarely ever paused. Probably.
I just thought that was funny and worth noting. I did really, really enjoy the whole experience, but was so annoyed by the ending that it ruined it for me.
Yeah, I remember you being like real mad at the end.
So mad.
Yeah, you're like, I think I hate this game now. It sucks that like something like that could like ruin a full. I remember enjoying it all the way through. I mean, Matt, it's weird that, like in a game about like their whole thing about their genre of games is like who's going to survive. But for me, like you get, I guess it's the unfair deaths. Like when somebody dies, you're like, oh, well, I wanted to play as that character more or something like that. Which I guess is kind of the point of somebody dying, that you don't want somebody to die. But for me, their dying becomes an annoyance. And same thing for yours too. It's an annoyance more than like a I don't know what to call it. Like it's not like they're not enjoying the fact that somebody died because of like a cool turn in the plot. No, you get a bunch of cheap deaths and you lose characters that you're enjoying. I'm not wording this my thought process right. It's just like the way they kill people as a developer, the way they kill people doesn't work. Necessarily, they haven't figured out a way to make a death that just seems earned. Maybe I don't know.
Well, I was looking here. It says that one of the actors, Zach Tinker, he's Jacob. says that because apparently he twitches and stuff like that. It says during one of his Twitch streams, he did say that about he's like because they had 1,000 pages of script for divided amongst. He's like it was about 1,000 pages for people to read and act and stuff like that. He's like, but because we started recording, he said, motion capture started near the beginning of 2021 before we knew about like COVID and stuff like that. And as the year progressed, it got things progressed and, a lockdown and all that stuff happened. He's like, they ended up having to cut roughly 20% of the game because of, they were on the restrictions on everything, the time limit, they had to get the game out, had to put out a finished product. So he's like, I hope that maybe we can finish it. He's like maybe in a couple years they'll do like a director's cut or a complete, and we'll have like that stuff. He's like, or maybe they'll put out DLC or something. But he's like they cut roughly about 20% of the game in order to accommodate to make sure they hit their release window and stuff like that. So he's like so some stuff we acted and some stuff He's like, but they had to cut so much because of the time frame, and it was bad timing because of the COVID and stuff like that. And I was like, well,
sucks.
Which leads to some of the abrupt endings. And like I said, with Emma, she has her night swim, and then hides in the van. She probably had a lot. They probably had some more for her.
Yeah, they didn't have a chance to record it. Maybe.
Yeah, didn't have a chance to record it, or maybe even do mocap, because if they're on restricted sizes and stuff like that, so they may not ever be a complete version because they didn't actually go on too.
Yeah, I mean, crazier things have happened by them gathering all these people back up to record new stuff.
Mm-hmm. And I'm also, some of my other notes here, it says of all the characters, Ryan, Caitlin, and Abigail are the only characters that will never transform into a werewolf. It says they can become infected, but they will never transform into a werewolf.
I don't like that hard line setting this. I know it's complicated to have everything written for everybody, to have everything happen to them, whether turn, don't turn, die, don't die. Yeah. And stuff like that. And they have to interact with the living characters, or they'd have to interact with the werewolf versions. I know it's complicated, but I always thought about this thing about these kind of games. If you don't want to put in that kind of work for this game, then don't make this game.
Yeah, just make a solid.
If people want these full choice games, but you want to cut corners on it, maybe you shouldn't be making this game.
Yeah.
Now, I like this game. I'm just saying, that's just my thoughts. If you want to cut corners on what can happen in a choice game, you're not making the right thing.
This has more choice than the Telltale games and stuff like that.
Yeah, those are wicked on rails. I mean, all choice games. I'm not going to give this take away all the credit. Like, all these games are on rails. They have to be to cover a plot.
Yeah, they have to have these certain to hit story beats points. Have to happen.
Yeah, so all of these things, they're all on rails. I don't know. Abigail don't do anything. Like,
no, she just cries the whole game.
She sits and hides. So I don't know if there's a version of this where she gets to be
cool.
Not even cool. Just has more interesting stuff to do. But she does just hide the entire time. Yeah.
Yeah. See, and what's that character? We play as him, but Max. He gets infected and stuff like that, and he's just kind of pointless. I think the biggest thing is the fact that because Dylan actually was jokey, he just had the most personality, and that might also just be the actor, because everyone else was like running around, being their archetypes and stuff like that. But I enjoyed it. Like I said, for me, I enjoyed everything but the damn end.
Like the last hour for you, probably.
Yeah, everyone just started dying, and then so many people died. Then you talking about, and
all your deaths were because of the gun.
Because every single one of them was a shot that I missed. Every single one of them.
All 4 of your deaths were because of a gun. Mm-hmm. You did that bad at the shooting.
Yeah,
I didn't have anything go wrong with the shooting.
I know. I think I was pulling the trigger. I was panicking. I pulled the trigger too much, or
and you're supposed. I mean, I get the way you're supposed to be panic and kind of like trying to make the shot and miss the shot, but to fail it 4 times and lose 4 characters.
Yeah,
all because of a gun. It's just ridiculous. It's crazy.
Yep.
Absolutely nuts.
Believe you me, because one of the I was so frustrated by that. It was in the final chapter, and just everybody. It put such a bad taste in my mouth, and I was like, I think I hate this game.
So you wouldn't want to ever redo it?
Maybe. I know to be better and stuff like that, but we'll see. Because part of these games too is
live with your playthrough.
Yeah.
Your one playthrough.
I prefer to just live with it. That was my experience, and if I'm like replaying through it,
Yeah, I think a second playthrough takes. So we talked about like certain people can't die, and so even though certain events can't happen, you're not necessarily thinking about that on your first playthrough. I will say a second playthrough of this would remove. You would see more of the walls and the plot armor, and you would see a lot of that. So I think a second playthrough. I think only achievement hunters and stuff like that, or trophy hunters would do these multiple times, because I feel like maybe we play a lot of games. So I would be on my second playthrough. I would be looking for I would be seeing the holes, and I wouldn't be playing it for the story. There we go. Yeah. I wouldn't be enjoying a storyline of a second playthrough because I'd be too aware of the mechanics
of what choices to make.
Exactly. So I think that takes away. So I think like your first playthrough, when you're focused on just the plot and that, you're not really worried about. I wasn't even this time. I wasn't playing through like worrying about the mechanics of what I was doing, and you don't want to. Maybe other folks are not like us. Like you would be like on a second playthrough, you'd be so worried about. You'd be stressing this gun scenes, the whole freaking game, trying to get to the gun scenes, and then you'd be stressing. And then you wouldn't be just experiencing the story again. So I don't think there's any reason to like do it.
Then if I somehow messed up the gun thing again, you know how furious I would be.
Yes, so I think this like one playthrough and live with your whatever happened is kind of the way to experience these games.
Yeah, like I said, the only way that would be like is if I was doing it for fun and maybe did like you said, do a multiplayer thing or do an online thing, let people make choices, like have my friends hang out for an evening and they're making a different way to play. But if I wouldn't play it again solo for sure.
I'm gonna put what's it called, Little Hope is the next Dark Pictures game. I'm gonna put it on our wish list on Xbox and try to get it for a decent price. Maybe
are any of these on? Can we not just because we have to get 2 copies. That's right, we couldn't.
that's it. All in the wrong game file. We had to play single player.
Yeah,
and these other ones I want to play like. Well, man, I'm a Dan kind of. So I'm gonna put them on there. Maybe next time we do one of these games, we'll get the digital copies and we'll play together. We'll record or whatever and put it out as like for our channel or whatever. Do you have any other thoughts really about the Quarry?
I did enjoy the most of it. I thought all the acting was as good as it could be, and the gameplay and all that stuff. A lot of red herrings and stuff like that too. The
red herrings are
they do a good job of like keeping you guessing the majority of the game about who's who and what's what. And these bad guys, are they the bad guys, but they're the good guys?
I don't have a rating. I haven't been doing the rating stuff. Like it works for the other podcast because you and Steve have to do it, but for me, I just don't think about it.
Well, for me, like I said, I do enjoy everything. I don't think I'll ever play the game again. Yeah. I do think it's cool that they do offer the ability, the replayability for those who want to do it, to allow you to like rewind your deaths and stuff like that. They put a lot of work into it. The game is gorgeous. I do like how it's very well put together. I like the fact that it's werewolves, not wendigos, but I kind of wish they'd picked something else or maybe made them look a little bit different.
More wolfy.
Mm-hmm. The violent explosion of the transformation is hilarious every time it happens because people just get coated in blood. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I gave my rating. I'm going to give it 7 missed shots out of 10. I think that's
about the average of your shot ratio anyway.
Exactly.
Pretty funny. Yeah, I'd land about I mean, I don't have a thing for about a 7 does sound good. Not quite an 8. Like it's not boring enough for us. Like a 6 is boring, but whatever. But I think a 7 is like it's good. Like it's enjoyable. And again, I said like the beginning, I like Quarry more than I like now. My Until Dawn memories are old. Mm-hmm. I remember I was the person back when everybody was like I played, you played, Jessica played, my wife played. And the whole world was kind of like the gaming industry when everybody was playing. Because Until Dawn was the first of its kind.
Yeah,
everybody was playing Until Dawn and falling in love with it, and I did not like Until Dawn. And I felt like the only guy. Like you liked it too, and she loved it. And everybody was like, I just don't like this.
You're hyper judgmental about everything.
I am hyper judgmental, but like I was just, I don't know. That game just didn't land for me. Like none of the characters were working. None of everything that was happening in that game wasn't working. This one kind of worked a little bit for me,
because some of those characters were annoying from the get go. Like I can't wait for you to die so I can stop listening to you. I do remember some of that stuff.
They had the harder archetypes in that one, the more solid archetypes, and like confined to their archetype and the whatever.
This is the dude, bro. That's the slut. That's the virgin. That's the job.
The cheerleader.
Yeah, literally the cheerleader.
So yeah, I will say so far, of the three that we've played, I've enjoyed the Quarry the most compared to Man of Medan. Now I want to play the other ones. I want to put on. I want to try to. We're gonna have to buy them apparently because they refuse to come to Game Pass. So we'll say Little Hope would be next. We will play when we get a chance to play it. We'll try to stream it and then I'll talk about it quicker, so our memories will be better. I was looking at some of the cast too. Like you'll recognize some of that. I was looking at Little Hope, trying to figure out if we can play it with one copy.
I think one of them's Will Portier.
Yeah.
I think it's Little Hope, aka Adam Warlock, and
we just saw him in the Death of a Unicorn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think what is that name? Will Portier.
Yeah.
Portier.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's that game. So what are we doing next? Do you want to talk about what we're doing next? It's for both of us, but it's heavily something you've been wanting to do for a long time.
Yeah. So I semi-hinted at it in our last episode, the Wall Arms 2 with their developer. I specifically, the developer MediaVision, I specifically didn't mention a series of games that they are responsible for making because they have a new game coming out, and we had just beat. Now the game I played didn't have anything to do with the developer.
Yeah, so all your most recent game literally didn't have nothing to do with it.
Had nothing to do with it, but it is a franchise that I very much enjoy and have played through a lot of the games. And I think it's worth talking about because I'm not going to talk about any particular. I'll probably talk about one game in particular just because it's the most recent one that I played, but I do want to talk about the franchise as just a whole. And I definitely think it's worth mentioning, but just so people are aware. I'm going to be talking about Drew, who joined in with me too, because he's played some of the games and has a general liking of the franchise. But what we're talking about is called Digimon.
In general, sort of.
Just in general, it'd be a Digimon. But the game that I recently did was Digimon Survive.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about that a bunch, and then we'll talk about mostly just like Digimon as a whole.
Yeah, we'll talk about, so it's going to be a bit of the shows, but there's a lot of games that we've played, and this is all kind of in anticipation for Time Stranger.
Which comes out, I think, later this year, in like a month or two.
Yeah, we have Time Stranger pre-ordered. There's a lot of hype in our little corner of the internet. There's a lot of hype around Digimon Time Stranger, Digimon Story Time Stranger, because Survive wasn't terribly well received, which Blake will talk about. Blake will talk about Survive. We'll talk about all the different. We can't. There's too many games, but we'll mention. But you'll have notes across the franchise, at least of games like and like maybe a third of Digimon games even come to America. So it's like it's kind of limited. But and I've only dabbled in a bunch of all of these. I didn't play Survive at all, but I plan on taking a good look at Time Stranger when it comes out. So it's gonna be like a Digimon appreciation kind of episode, if anything, and the games and the shows that we've grew up with,
and the fact that they just announced a brand spanking new one.
Oh yeah, I don't remember what it's called.
Digimon Beat Break, yeah,
Beat Break, something like that. Yeah, so we'll be doing Digimon as kind of as a whole. And yeah, that's going to be that. So with that, I will wrap this thing up. We'll thanking Jared and the other guys from Merch for letting us use the song "Letting Go" for the podcast. We always appreciate and love those guys. Go to their social medias. They do have shows coming up.
Like 2 upcoming shows for sure.
So they got shows coming up. They probably got new music on the way and stuff like that. So definitely follow them. Put their songs, their albums like that on repeat on Spotify. Buy their stuff. Buy their merch. Tell them, Drew and Blake from Lockstock sent you to their show to support them. Jared will especially love to hear that. So go see them. Go support them as much as you can. What else? We'll take Mlad Markovic, aka Devious.Pixel, for the art for this podcast. We won't spoil it yet, but we already have our art for our next guest episode ready, and we already shared it to the guests there, so they've already seen it. And I think we've shared it with Brian. Has Brian seen it?
Yeah, in our group chat. Yeah,
and Brian's seen it, so we have that. This is our first time having the art ready in advance.
Wait in advance.
We're often like Blake's like messaging Mlad and trying to get the art put together in like a week before the episode comes out. But Blake got ahead of it this time for the first time in podcast history. So we got the art ready. So thanks Mlad for creating another. Also, like we say it every time. Blake gave him a sketch. Like Blake's not an artist. He gives him a sketch. He kind of makes a version of the sketch, and then Blake gives him the artistic leeway to do more. And there's added detail that we didn't ask for that he puts into the art. That you have to really look at the art of what he does for us to really enjoy what he's doing for us. So that's there. So that's all I got. So we'll be back. I'll let Blake wrap it up here. We'll be back again in a couple of weeks with some Digimon love.
We do have a brother podcast called Suspension of Disbelief, where me and our good buddy Steve take turns semi-surprising one another with, movie picks that we don't discuss until we record, so that our opinions don't influence the other. Please go check that out. That did spawn off this one because way back in the day, we used to talk about, we did too much. We talked about everything. We liked movies and comic books and music and stuff like that, but we narrowed the focus. Please go check that out because those are full dives. If you like it, because I like doing the research, or I go into full dives and like the movie studios and the stuff like that. Oh, the video game studios rather. And then over there, I go to the writers, directors, composers, and stuff like that. Which, oh Lord, I didn't even mention the composer for this game.
It's not the time.
Yeah, I know.
You've gone too far. We're not going backwards.
But yeah, let me just say that there was good music, real homage to like 80s horror movies and stuff like that. Synthy. Please go check us out on there. I do have a self-published short story on Amazon called They Come This Night. Please go check that out. Write that, review that. I'm really proud of it. Called They Come This Night. And with that being said, I want to wish everybody a good evening and good night.